Thom Hartmann here on the news. You need to know this. Chief Justice John Roberts may have changed his mind on Obamacare. CBS News is reporting that Roberts initially sided with the conservatives on the court to strike down the entirety of President Obama's Affordable Care Act before changing his mind and switching sides to uphold the law. According to CBS, Roberts kept a close eye on media coverage of the court leading up to the decision, and one source close to the court suggested that Roberts may have changed his vote to keep the court's reputation intact. Ultimately, Roberts did conservatives a huge favor, whether they realize it or not. By upholding Obamacare, Roberts kept in place the for-profit health insurance system, which could have been overturned in a few years had the healthcare crisis in America continued without action. And by designating the individual mandate as a tax, Roberts gives Republicans a chance to repeal Obamacare through reconciliation, meaning Republicans would only need a simple majority in the Senate to get rid of the law, no filibuster allowed. On Sunday, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell promised to do just that should Republicans win back the Senate in November. Though McConnell may run into some trouble as a new Reuters poll shows support for Obamacare growing since the Supreme Court ruling. In screwed news, hundreds of thousands of people are still without power around the nation's capital and left to deal with a record-breaking heat wave alone. Fueled by all-time temperature highs on Friday, a massive freak storm ripped across the mid-Atlantic Friday night, killing at least 15 people and knocking out power to more than 3 million. West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia, Ohio, and Washington, D.C. have all declared states of emergency. Meanwhile, on the other side of the nation, a wildfire continues to scorch Colorado, where tens of thousands of people have been evacuated out of harm's way and more than 350 homes destroyed. On the heels of this freak weather is a new report from climate scientists around the world warning that when it comes to rising sea levels, the tipping point has already been passed. Scientists with the U.S. research group Climate Central warned that even with drastic cuts in CO2 emissions, rising sea levels cannot be stopped over the next few hundred years, threatening roughly a tenth of the world's population who live in low-lying areas. So here we have massive wildfires, catastrophic storms, and rising oceans. Welcome to the new normal, brought to us by transnational oil and coal barons and the politicians they own. In the best of the rest of the news, the chairman of Barclays banks, Marcus Agius, resigned today and accepted responsibility for his bank's high crimes between 2005 and 2009, when Barclays manipulated interbank interest rates known as LIBOR, which serve as the basis for everything from home mortgage interest rates to car loan interest rates. Rather than anyone going to jail for this massive criminal fraud, which screwed over countless people with higher interest rates, Barclays was simply hit with a $453 million fine, essentially a slap on the wrist for a bank that can easily pay such a fine without noticing it. At least Barclays chairman Marcus Agius is out of a job, although if he'd gone into a 7-Eleven and stolen a Slurpee, rather than stealing billions through inflated interest rates, he'd be in jail. GQ is exclusively reporting that sources inside the White House hint that should President Obama win a second term in office, they'll take on America's failed war on drugs. As Mark Ambinder of GQ notes, going back to his days as a state senator in Illinois, President Obama has always been critical of the 4-decade-long war on drugs. However, the president's first term has been littered with DEA raids on medical marijuana facilities operating legally under state law, disappointing many drug reformers who believe the president has been just as hardline on the drug war as was his predecessor George W. Bush. But if the president does have a change of heart and does tackle the drug war, and he'll have a lot of moneyed interests to take on as well, from alcohol and tobacco manufacturers to private prison corporations to law enforcement unions, all of whom are spending huge amounts of money to keep the war on drugs going. Hitmen have now found a place in our democracy. According to a new study appearing in Science Daily, super PAC political attack ads are far more effective than political attack ads run by individual campaigns. The study surveyed 1,500 U.S. adults who were shown fictional attack ads from both super PACs and from fictional candidates themselves. The researchers found that the viewers penalized the candidates for their negative ads, triggering a backlash effect that diminished the power of the ad. But when super PACs, which aren't affiliated with a candidate, run the attack ad, there is no backlash. Before Citizens United, candidates were required to stand by their negative attack ads and take responsibility for what's said and whatever backlash comes from it. But not anymore. The Supreme Court has given campaigns the power to hire political hitmen who can lie, distort, and scare the hell out of voters with complete anonymity and no consequences. And finally, we should pay attention to what's happening in Ireland. The government there just scrapped every single one of their electronic voting machines, removing 7,500 machines in 14 locations all across the country today. Bought for 53 million euros, the machines are being sold at scrap for just 9 euros a pop. The reason why? Because after several tests, the British government proved that the machines are unreliable and can easily be tampered with. After just one election back in 2002, the machines were put away into storage before finally being removed today. So if Ireland has no confidence in their electronic voting machines, why do we in the United States? Not only are elections being bought by corporate money, but also our votes are being counted by corporations like Diebold, whose CEO promised to deliver Ohio for George W. Bush back in 2004. Time to go back to paper like the rest of the world. And that's the way it is today, Monday, July 2nd, 2012. I'm Thom Hartmann on the news.